Uldric Voldus, Grand Master of the Wardmakers, wields more psychic might than any Grey Knight seen in centuries. The very air crackles around him as he focuses his mind and bends the colossal energies of the warp to his will. With a word, purifying flames pour forth from the head of his ornate nemesis demon hammer, the Malleus Argyrum, turning chaos-tainted flesh, bone and armor into pillars of ash. Heretic war engines shudder and halt as their twisted machine spirits are rent from their chassis. In Voldus's grip, reality constricts, and the helms of his enemies are crushed by invisible waves of force. Just as easily he can focus the minds of his fellow Grey Knights, allowing them to strike true at their foes amidst the fog of war, or channel their physical reserves into strikes that can fell all but the largest of demons. Voldus himself is also a dauntless fighter, having battled in strike forces with the Third Brotherhood on not one but two demon worlds within the Eye of Terror. With every deft swing of the perfectly balanced Malleus Argyrum, Voldus shatters those before him. The boom of thunder sounds with each strike as channeled psychic energies are unleashed upon his victims. It was only at the onset of the gathering storm that Voldus was made Grand Master of the Third Brotherhood and Warden of the Librarius. The position is renowned for being dangerous and perhaps even cursed. The previous Warden, Dorium Narathem, was only recently promoted to Grand Master at the time of his death, and during his fourth mission in this role led the Wardmakers to a demonic incursion on the fortress world of Longhallow to extract the precious relics held there. When the Lord of Change Makashan tore from the warp into real space and slew Naratham, it was Brother Voldus who unleashed the full force of his psychic power on the greater demon. Perhaps guided by the pure empiric light, Grand Master Kaldor Drago emerged from the Immaterium and joined the battle. With their wills united, the two Grey Knights banished Makashan, sending him writhing back beyond the veil. In the wake of the battle, Drago himself appointed the humble Voldus to the rank of Grand Master, lauding his exceptional heroism and psychic prowess. Even as Drago's curse took hold and he began to fade from real space, Voldus swore an oath to live up to this great honor, one of which he did not truly believe himself worthy. He strives towards this goal in all his actions, offering prayers to the Emperor of Mankind for strength and guidance. Since taking up the mantle of Grand Master, Voldus has been instrumental in guiding the actions of the Grey Knights. After consulting with the prognosticars, Voldus and a small strike force rushed to Macragge to aid the Ultramarines in what would come to be known as the Siege of Hera. These warriors would bear witness to a miracle of faith and technology, the resurrection of Rabut Gilliman. Voldus and his battle brothers fought side by side with the Primarch against the legions of heretic Astartes on Macragge. They slew demons and traitors across the reaches of space, through the twisting paths of the Webway, and on the surface of Luna. Voldus even accompanied Gilliman to Holy Terror, to the doors of the Emperor's throne room. In his brief tenure, Voldus has played a greater part in the fate of the Imperium than perhaps any other living Grand Master. As one of the chapter's finest and most revered warriors, a Grand Master's duty is to take charge of those battles so pivotal or perilous that even the hardened warrior skills of a brother captain are deemed insufficient to the task at hand. Such a campaign is sure to see the Grey Knights at the very pinnacle of their abilities, for a Grand Master has a keen eye for strategy, and an uncanny skill for ensuring his troops fight at peak efficiency. Under a Grand Master's guiding will, a Grey Knight's strike force will often adopt non-standard doctrines with a precision and speed that is nothing short of uncanny. Indeed, it is said by some that a Grand Master is apt to control his subordinates' minds if it will bring victory. Others claim it is simply the hallmark of a remarkable leader. A Grand Master is himself a paragon of battle, unleashing righteous fury upon all who stand before him. Every blow from his nemesis weapon carries with it the immense weight of his full psychic potential, and with the ease of breathing he delivers bolts of crackling energy and streams of storm bolter shells into the foe. By tradition there are 8 Grand Masters of the Grey Knights. Each is the spiritual heir of one of the 8 founding Grand Masters. To reach this rank is to have battled on 10,000 worlds, to have slain demons unnumbered, and to have stood stalwart as an unfailing example of honor and purity, not only to your battle brothers, but to every soul in the Imperium. Even then, a new Grand Master can only be appointed by the will of those whose ranks he would join. Before he can be raised, those already established must be unanimous in approval. Each of the Grand Masters commands the might of an entire brotherhood, wielding the Grey Knight battle brothers they oversee like a blade of purest silver. Though a brother captain, librarian, or chaplain may be charged with leading a strike force to battle, it is a brotherhood's Grand Master who maps out and prosecutes the unending war against the denizens of the Warp. By consulting with the prognosticars and heeding their visions, a Grand Master can determine where his forces are most needed. But even with such guidance, the decisions that come before a Grand Master are painfully difficult. The Grey Knights are small in number and the Imperium is vast. Not all worlds can be saved from demons, and like rotting limbs some must be severed, whereas others must be preserved no matter how high the cost. It is a heavy burden, and the Grand Masters answer to none for their actions save their fellows and the Supreme Grand Master. To ensure the effectiveness of their forces, a Grand Master also holds responsibility for maintaining his Brotherhood's many alliances, whether with other organizations within the Imperium or the various alien races with whom the Grey Knights have covert dealings. The actual detail of such treaties, pacts and accords are worked out by the chapter's scribes. A warrior's time is too precious to be expended on such bureaucratic detail. The Grand Master's chief role in these matters is to attend the occasion in full regalia of war. It is rarely necessary for him to speak in order to convey the will of his Brotherhood. His grim and martial aspect are a stark warning to any who would think to abuse the chapter's trust.